The Zen browser, I'm sure you've already heard about it at this point, but after recently trying Arc on Windows, I have to admit it was a bit disappointing to say the least. So in this video, I'll go over the Zen browser for Windows 11, show you a detailed comparison between the Arc browser across various aspects, why I think Zen is miles better, as well as things you should consider before you switch to it for yourself. So with that, let's begin. Oh, actually, before we begin, if you already know about the Zen browser, then skip to this timecode to get to the comparison portion of this video between Zen and Arc, as I'll quickly be going over the Zen interface and its key features to begin with. There's chapters below either way for your convenience. So starting with the Zen browser website, overall things look pretty promising with the bold statement in the center of the screen, though I feel this is almost a direct jab at the Arc browser by saying welcome to the calmer internet, which goes against the Arc browser I think that says meet the internet or let go of the old internet, etc, etc. Taking a quick browse through the website itself, the browser appears to offer heavy emphasis on privacy, customization, features such as split tabs, pop-out windows, the Zen sidebar, and finally the fact that Zen is open source and a community driven project, so there is that. If you dig a little deeper on the website, you'll also find that the Zen browser is built upon the Firefox framework, so it might be a bit of fresh air compared to many of the Chromium based browsers out there. When you go to download the browser, you'll notice that it supports all the major operating systems and at the time of recording has now gone into beta. This is a big step forward for the browser's development, as Zen was in alpha last time I briefly checked it out, and the website has had an overhaul since. The setup experience is pretty standard, but done well with the clean and minimal aesthetic that carries through to the rest of the browser. In regards to the actual options I presented to you, much of it's the usual, but one page that caught my eye in particular was the fact that you can choose between 3 core layouts for the Zen interface. We'll touch upon these a bit later in the video, but for now I'll just select the multiple toolbars option, as I feel this is generally what is set as default and what most people will be using. Once the setup is completed, you'll be greeted to a clean start page without any sort of annoying pop-ups, ads or sign-in prompts, so that's great to see. Alright, moving into the core part of the interface, I'm sure you've realized by now that the Zen browser is very similar to that of the Arc browser in the way that it uses vertical tabs and its overall layout. However, there are some key differences. Starting in the top right, we have the settings icon, which takes you to your browser settings, unsurprisingly. Next to that is the side panel button to open and close the side panel if you choose to use your mouse as opposed to a keyboard shortcut. And next to that, we have an account icon, which I should mention is optional. Below that, we have the side panel itself, which contains your tabs as you populate and load them, and at the bottom, you have the Zen sidebar icon. When you click on the icon, another sidebar appears, which contains a few different tabs, such as your bookmarks, your browser history, as well as your synced tabs if you choose to create a Mozilla account. Overall, it's a compact way to get at some additional parts of your browser without taking up a whole tab and keeps your content in focus. The spaces indicator is also present at the bottom to keep groups of tabs organized in the sidebar, as well as a new tab button, which is indicated by the plus icon. Moving on to the top section of the browser, you get the standard forward, back and refresh buttons, the URL and the search bar in the center, and on the far right, a button to manage your extensions, as well as a 3-dot menu with various clustered controls. Though it is also worth mentioning that you can also right click in the side panel if you'd like to get a whole load of options appear in regards to the tab management. As mentioned previously, Zen is a highly customizable browser, so if you right click an icon or part of the sidebar, you can customize the theme of the browser like you'd do in Arc with various gradients, but with Zen you can even take things a step further by choosing to customize the various icons that appear around the interface by pressing the customize toolbar option. A tray will then open up, allowing you to add, remove and replace existing icons with additional options that are presented to you in the tray at the bottom of the browser. Another thing to note is that there's also something that Zen refers to as the overflow menu, allowing you to drop controls in the menu that you see on the right, which once pressed on will display the controls in the top right section of the app. Alright, I think that covers some of the core aspects of the Zen browser, so let's jump into some of the reasons why this is the ideal vertical tab based browser for those on Windows and compare it to that of the Arc browser. Oh, and I'll discuss various settings of this browser at the end of the video, so be sure to stick around for that if you're interested. Okay, so there were many things that I didn't really like about Arc during my personal usage on Windows 11 when I tried it in a previous video. Because of this, let's tackle each one of these issues, starting with those that were particularly annoying and see how Zen does it better. Again, this is based on my opinion, for my use case, and your mileage may vary. Let's start with favorites. So in the Arc browser, your favorites provide you with quick links to your most commonly visited sites. However, there are many strange things at play here. First of all is the fact that if you open a favorite, it opens up in its own tab, which you can cycle between. This also means that if you click on a favorite again, you can't open another instance of this link or populate a current tab with that site. It behaves very much like a pinned tab. Not only this, but when you cycle to another tab, you can't tell that you have your favorite open. You just have to guess, unless you press Ctrl tab and search for it in the preview that opens in the middle of the screen. And to top it all off, you can only have 12 of these so-called favorites as a maximum. Personally, I just find this incredibly confusing. Taking a look at the Zen browser, things seem to follow a lot more of a logical approach. For starters, you have the bookmarks bar in the top section of the application by default, which behaves very much like your typical bookmarks that you'd find on any other browser, allowing you to open multiple instances of that link into different tabs and allows you to replace the content of an already existing tab with that link. You can open as many tabs with your favorites loaded as you like, as your favorites are just links. Not only this, but you can actually see your tabs that are open in the tab area with a quick glance, as opposed to Arc, which leaves you guessing. Honestly, Arc could fix this issue quite easily by adding a slight accent of color to the favorites that are open. Next up are pinned tabs. Now in the Arc browser, you have pinned tabs, which behave like normal tabs but can't be removed unless you choose to do so. But here's the thing, with the confusing behavior of Arc favorites opening as their own tabs, as we discussed previously, what's the difference between your favorites and pinned tabs? Aren't they the same thing at this point? Now, I looked into this online and found that Arc auto closes your open tabs after a while, and pinned tabs are effectively immune to this. Why auto archiving is on by default in the first place, I'm not really sure, but okay. And when it comes to favorites in Arc, these are available across all your spaces, which is alright, but not my preferred behavior, because this way, when you switch to a space, half your tabs follow you while the others don't. In the Zen browser, you have your tabs list to the side, and if you right click on any tab, you can choose to pin it. Once pinned, that tab will move to the top of the list and always remain open and can never be closed unless you right click on it and then choose to do so. And in regards to how this behaves across spaces, well, the answer is that it just doesn't. When you go to another space, you get a clean slate that is completely separate to the first tab, both in regards to the pinned and normal tabs, just how it should be in my opinion, as if you'd opened a whole nother instance of the application, but it's actually just still in one window. Okay, so editor me here. Now this issue with keeping your pinned tabs separate can actually be solved in Arc by using the profiles feature, which I found out about quite recently following a comment on my Arc browser review video. You can do this by right clicking in the sidebar, pressing set profile, and then press new profile. This will allow you to keep your browsing sessions separate. Now personally, I think it definitely allows you to keep things separated, but I still just find it a little confusing. Not to mention, the fact that I didn't really discover it in my Arc browser review video might suggest more on the side of this feature being a little unintuitive and buried away for just your casual user to work out how to use. I think a toggle switch to have spaces work completely separate might have been a better approach, but that's just me. Anyway, back to the video. The only thing that I wish that Zen did implement is side scrolling or the use of a trackpad gesture in order to switch between your spaces, because the trackpad gesture that you can use to do this in Arc is very intuitive, I will admit. Oh, and a final one, if you right click in the various areas of the Zen browser, you'll actually have the ability to place the side panel on the right, which is such a simple and great customization feature that is just not present in Arc. I think this would be quite good for those languages that read from right to left, as this would match the traditional UI approach from a mirrored perspective. And talking about pin tabs, I think now is a good point to mention Arc on startup. Personally, I couldn't wrap my head around the concept of these ghost tabs, if you like, being present on Arc when you start up the browser. Does this mean that the tabs are open or closed, as there doesn't seem to be a preview present, but when you click on one, it begins to load the site? Is this more of a backend thing? I really have no idea what's going on personally. On the Zen browser, however, by default, the browser is simply set to open and resume where you left off. And if you have everything closed, when you open the browser again, nothing will be open, just as you left it. The only exception to this are pin tabs, which are permanently open and can never be closed. But again, the user creates these. Tab switcher. Now, I touched upon the tab switcher previously, alongside the fact that you can get previews to view your open tabs. However, you quickly find out that this isn't as great as it seems. For starters, you only get 5 tabs displayed to you. The rest of them are just not visible, which kind of makes sense from a space saving perspective, but then you start to wonder, if you have many tabs, let's say more than 5 for instance, which of the 5 are presented to you in the tab switcher? Well, that's the thing. In this scenario, Arc shows you your 5 most recent tabs, from left to right. This also means that the position of these tabs are constantly changing as they cycle in and out of frequency and rotation. How anyone is able to be productive with this system is beyond me. Now yes, this is similar to the Windows tab switcher for your apps, but the difference here is that Windows starts out with massive previews when only a few apps are open, and slowly reduces in size depending on the number of apps that you have open, which actually makes sense, unlike Arc, which are fixed sized no matter if you have 1 or 5 tabs open. And yes, I said 5 because that's another difference, in the sense that the Windows tab switcher is not limited to 5 app previews, unlike Arc, which leaves you guessing as to what your other open tabs are. Not to mention that the previews, while alright for a single tab, isn't great for more than that. This is because one of the cool features in Arc is the ability to have split tabs, and if you have 2 or more splits, it becomes very hard to see what you're looking at in the previews. Meanwhile, in the Zen browser, you don't get any fancy switching present, but rather just your basic instant switching between between the tabs that you have in your side panel. Yeah, sure, this doesn't look as nice, but it's 1,000 times more usable and passes the function over form threshold for me personally. And if you really do want your tabs to be switched by recency, then all you need to do is enable this option in the Zen settings to achieve the same behavior as that of Arc. Next up, we have accounts. This will be a short section for sure. On the Arc browser, you're required to create an account in order to use it. There's simply no option to use it without an account. Now, if you visit Arc's privacy page, no data collection occurs from the surface it seems, with third parties anyway, but Arc requires you to use an account for development purposes and to improve the browser experience over time, which is fair I guess, but in the process they do collect a decent amount of data which is presented in this table. Again, you might or might not care about this, but at least now you know. Taking a look at Zen, there's no account needed to use this browser. There is an option to have an account in order for you to sync your browser settings and information, but this is very much optional and your choice. So with all this as a single package, it's pretty decent in regards to privacy. And again, while all this might not be that big of a deal for everyone, I would say that it is objectively an advantage from an end user point of view, being able to have the option to have an account, and thus a win for Zen in my books. Scrolling and zooming. This one is admittedly more of a minor thing, but still was just annoying enough to catch my attention. So when you scroll in Arc, the physics that are used are quite different to that of the rest of the Windows operating system. It feels almost like the scrolling behavior is like that of macOS as opposed to Windows. And the same thing applies for zooming, in the sense that it's very floaty, which I explained in detail in my Arc browser review video if you want to check that out in the cards above. With Zen though, it just matches the rest of the system and feels optimized for Windows as opposed to macOS, which is what it feels like when using Arc. Fullscreen mode. Now this is one where Arc and the Zen browser could probably improve upon, and that's their Fullscreen mode implementation. Now both browsers have this sort of border running around the edge of your browser window, and while this looks aesthetically pleasing, you can never make full use of all your screen real estate and every single pixel. This is especially annoying considering that when you press F11 on either browser, nothing happens, and is one aspect I think both browsers could improve upon. Take Microsoft Edge for example. Yep, I said the E word. Anyway, it too can be configured to have a similar look to that of the Zen and Arc browser, even if it isn't a dedicated vertical tabs based browser. But when you press F11, the strip of pixels running around the edge of the screen disappears and makes your content go from edge to edge. Yes, pun intended, which is the perfect implementation of full screen behavior in my opinion. Though I would have to say that between the two, Zen probably has the advantage, as despite it still being in beta at the time of recording, it has options to hide the top, side strip, or both, while Arc just doesn't allow you to hide the top bar at all. And the final trick up Zen's sleeve is the fact that you get an extensive range of customization in regards to the core layout and interface, which I touched upon at the start of the video, but really allows you to tailor the browser to your needs. So if I want to have the top bar completely disappear and even incorporate the side URL and search bar into the sidebar on the left, you even have that option available too. Arc used to be set like this by default, but now it's gone with a more traditional approach. So yeah, Zen's a winner in this department, based on your operating system. And I think that transitions well into my next point, which is the fact that Arc simply seems to be a macOS first browser, which is especially so considering that the first supported versions of Arc started out on macOS and have since moved on to other platforms, including Windows. But as many other commenters have suggested, it seems that there are quite a few functionality differences between the Arc for Windows version and that for macOS. Considerations before switching to it. Okay, so that covers the comparison part of the Arc browser to Zen, but what about things you should consider before switching to it for yourself? Well, the main one that would be on everyone's mind is the fact that the Zen browser is still in development, in the beta phase to be specific. Because of this, you could expect some form of unreliability and issues while using it, but generally it seems to be running just fine for many people out there, with hardly any issues. Something that I would also recommend people consider is the fact that the vertical tabs, despite this being a video dedicated to them, is not for everyone, especially when you consider that the space saving can be quite dependent on your screen size and the aspect ratio, resulting in it not being as large as you'd think. Another thing I wanted to point out is that Zen houses the bookmarks in the bookmarks bar, which definitely is what many people are used to coming from other browsers. But as I spoke about previously, Zen allows you to have a single toolbar mode. Now this is great, but because of this ability to have Zen configured in both ways, you're not able to access your bookmarks all that easily if you use the single toolbar mode, as you can't create folders in the sidebar for your pin tabs or bookmarks which are not stored in the sidebar like Arc for example. I think the way that Zen could solve this is by having the bookmarks bar be an additional row in the slide down menu, which Zen has already implemented well for the window controls on the top right, so it stays out of view when not needed. But yeah, something to consider really. And just a final couple more things you should consider is firstly power usage. Again, this will vary based on your system, but I'd recommend checking it out and monitoring it under different use cases for your specific workflow, alongside the fact that Zen always shows the full length address bar in the top section section, and there doesn't really seem to be a way to shorten the address bar. There might be a mod for this, but yeah, that's beyond the scope of this video, and again, just something to note. The Zen Browser Settings. Alright, so that covers the main comparison portion of this video, but as mentioned previously, for the latter half of the video, I'll go through various smaller niche features of the Zen browser, a walkthrough of the settings for this browser, and in particular, those that you should consider changing. Alright, let's carry on. So heading into the settings for the Zen browser, there are a few different tabs. Starting with the General tab, there's quite a few settings in here, but personally, I'd say that it's worth taking a look at the Startup section, where you can adjust whether Zen opens to your previous windows and tabs, or starts afresh, as well as setting the Zen browser as your default choice. Scrolling down a bit, you'll find controls on the theme of the website in the Zen browser specifically, as well as being able to choose the font and size that Zen uses as well. Scrolling further down still, you get the Files and Applications section, where you can specify which folder Zen saves your downloads to and whether you want to open them straight away. Again, this might be useful for many out there and can get pretty specific too. You might also want to change some of the browsing settings, such as that of smooth scrolling, having all links being underlined for a visual guide, as well as a few others, but I think these are best left on their defaults. Moving on to the look and feel section of the settings, much of this is fairly standard and very much personal preference, but if you scroll down to something called Glance, when enabled, you have the ability to peek into web links without having to actually open them and can change the activation shortcut from this dropdown. Split View also has an interesting control which allows you to change the focus of each of your splits by simply hovering your mouse over that region. Not one that I personally use, but could be useful if you do a lot of switching between split tabs and don't want to have to keep clicking between them. And finally, an option which you might want to consider is showing the new tab button at the bottom of your tabs list, which technically takes up one additional tab space that would otherwise be available. You also get the ability in here to move the new tab button to the top of the tab bar, as well as whether you want dividers at different points in the sidebar, for what that's worth. In regards to the tab management settings, it's pretty short, but the main controls to take a look at would be the various controls on how workspaces behave, as well as hiding or showing the actual UI icons relating to workspaces. The tab Unloader present below might also be something you want to change, depending on how powerful your computer is and whether you prioritize saving resources after a certain number of tabs are loaded. And the pin tab setting that you'll find at the bottom allows you to reset your pin tabs to the URL that you specified originally, alongside a drop down to control what happens when you close regular tabs. Again, a lot of customization on offer here. Keyboard shortcuts are keyboard shortcuts, but there's a couple in here I'd consider changing. First of all being Workspaces navigation, so you don't have to click the icons if you have a lot of workspaces active. Control-Shift-H, which allows you to get a more detailed history view as opposed to the simpler Control-H shortcut, as well as resetting the pin tabs to the pinned URL, so this way you don't have to close your browser or reload it manually with the pinned URL, and the Control-Shift-C as well as Alt-B shortcuts. Following on from this, we have Zen Mods, which offers a whole range of quality of life features and improvements to the Zen interface, so you can really customize Zen to your liking. However, for this video, I'm not really going to delve too deep into the mods, browser extensions, or plugins, as this video is already getting pretty long. But if you want to see a detailed guide on that specifically, then be sure to drop a like. Below that, we have the home page. Again, you can customize it quite extensively from within here. The search tab below that allows you to control the default search engine used, as well as what type of suggestions are present in the search bar when you type. You can customize this as you like by omitting certain elements. Conclusion and closing. So yeah, all things considered, should you switch to the Zen browser? Well, I mean, if you really do want a vertical tab based browser for Windows 11 and don't want to use the likes of Microsoft Edge for various reasons, then I'd say that Zen is a solid choice, especially considering that the browser is open source, highly customizable, and with no strings attached, especially compared to Arc, which is just half baked on Windows. For Windows 11, I'd say it's the obvious choice, though if you're not convinced and want a more traditional browser, let's say, then you might be interested in highly useful Chrome extensions. If so, then check out this video here. Or if that doesn't float your boat, then why not consider checking out my website's playlist of videos, which contains close to 80 cool and useful websites combined that you need to know about. Anyway, like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.